my name's Matt Cameron, and I'm here with Risto, the founder and lead of Tracardi, and we're having our weekly office hours just talking about Tracardi and learning about what Tracardi does and getting a little bit of update about where we're at. Risto, did you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi, I'm Rista. I'm founder of Tracardi. I've been working for Tracardi for 3 years, and we have like a working version already, and we share what you can do with Tracardi. And Tracardi is open source, so you can just try it on your own.
Awesome. Hey, it's easy to get started with Tracardi. We'll put up a slide here where you can find some more details, and we'll put that slide up at the end. But the best way is just to reach out to Risto on Twitter or on email. Just go to the website. We'll make sure that link is there, also an email address so that you can find out and get an invite to the Slack group. Once you're in the Slack group, everything becomes clear. You get lots of helpful support. So it's a great place to get yourself into to find out more. It's, that time of the year when you're going to start making stuff really happen quickly, and I'm in that mode.
Yeah, I have, the year started and I have like a lot of people asking a lot of things and a lot of meetings.
Yeah. So it's been a bit quiet for the last, just over the end of year break. It's been pleasant, but it's February again now, so we're all back at it.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to scratch myself over the last week. I've landed on a book. I've landed on a couple of Python books which I've been reading through, and I want to refactor the code that I've done before we do a pull request. Just make it a bit sweeter than what it is at the moment. But I have it working, so that it's just working for me at the moment. So I want to get it so that it's a proper request in there and it's done properly. So that'll come soon.
Yeah, but I have saw the code and there's like little things to change, and well.
Yeah, but it needs to be a little bit more like it just does one thing, but it needs to be able to do a couple of things and be expandable and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And once that pattern's worked out, then it'll be the same for MailChimp and HubSpot as well. It'll be really straightforward. So having some fun with that.
Yeah.
Then we've sort of kicked off a little bit into this week's Tracardi office hours, I suppose. It's just us two. I haven't seen any invites come through. We had a great cast of everyone on deck last week, but it's just us two today. We don't need to make it a long meeting, I don't think. But what are the big key takeaways for this week? We've had the new release. How's that going?
Yeah, we have some changes also because people are requesting some changes and some use cases that are like appearing, and some of the features were removed just recently. I've got a question because we've removed some features because the underground process was changed, and right now, for example, the event is sent before it's is saved in the database before it's processed, so it's hard to just discard the event if the event comes from the bot. So for example, and today I was just making the changes so you can quickly just configure that I don't want any bot, Google bot, or any spider traffic in my Tracardi. So there are such changes that I've made, and there will be there's a minor release with all the changes. And also the changes will have like better logging of errors, because when there's an error, I usually don't have enough information about what's going on. So I'm trying to just log more information. So the new minor release will be, actually it's available on the HubSpot already, but I need to add some little changes, and I think within a day there will be a new release with all the fixes.
So it's on Docker Hub now, is that right?
Yes, it's on a Docker Hub now, but this little thing with bots just came up, and also some email validation issues. So I'm just releasing it probably today or tomorrow, the proper version, minor version, and yeah, and we'll go as as the new issues come, we'll just
Yeah, no,
probably
that's cool. What's that?
update.
What's that version called? So that'll be eight
Uh,
two three
a
one.
0.8.2.1. So
Yeah,
usually the minor releases that do not require any change on the database have
yep,
this last number changed.
sure. So that's 08.2. Sorry,
Point one.
0.8.2.1. Yep, cool.
Yeah.
How does it work? I guess the event looks at the agent, the user agent, to determine whether it's a bot. Is that how that
Yes. Yes.
works? Yep, yep.
Yeah. This is how it works. Actually, in the session, it's already in Tracardi, so you can filter it out using Tracardi and seeing what traffic comes from bot, like Google bot. But this way, people say, I don't want to see this traffic in my database. So that will be just probably by default it will be enabled and will just clear all the bot traffic. If you, for some reason, I don't know the reason to have this data, you would like to have it turned on, then you can just change the environment variable and then you'll have all the traffic.
Sure. Yeah, I guess there's a bit of that traffic comes through. It's not something I can't think of a use case, but I'm sure somebody will come up with one while they want to see bot
Yeah.
traffic.
Maybe
Actually,
somebody wants to see how the site is
yeah, they've been
indexed by
crawled.
Google.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
So
I saw on the on Slack there was a question that you put there about UI changes. If we landed on any preferences for UI changes, I think there's a couple of comments there about different things we could do. I particularly like the one about the copy and paste. They send this set actually around the activities and the automations. Some
mhm.
of the comments
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Actually, maybe I will be able to share my screen to see so you can see some of the changes that are
Oh, that'd be
done
awesome.
right now.
Yep.
But what I really like your suggestion about saving the filters. So you filtered something out and you would like to save it for the later reuse, and this is something I'm eager to do. Um, and also I've changed a lot of about deployment. I just hate the deployment is done right now, and I see like 90% of the users do not use deployment. They just go to production and do all the changes on production, because as you know, there's like two stages. You have like test and deploy and production version. You can do everything on test and then deploy everything into production, and then it's running on your site.
We, we,
uh,
we need to do a bit of a session on best deployment best practices because
yep.
so far I've been a bit of a copy and paste. I've been just manually configuring things as I go along. But I guess also you could use the API because you could pull down automations in the API and import them. I'm
um,
not sure.
actually on as to automation, you can just
Yep.
make that triggers or not. So this is quite easy with the automation, but with like opening new sources or configuring how the data is mapped, it's not so straightforward. So we had like test and deployment, and you could do it. And I've come up with the idea that okay, for the open source version, probably the best way is to do not have this kind of deployment. You just have all the data that you enable or disable. Okay, if it's disabled, then it's not running. If it's enabled, then it's running. And for the commercial version, there's like a full deployment. You can every raw every data that you put can be put through this process of deployment. So anything you change, it's always like a draft of something, and at
Yep.
the certain point you decide, okay, I'm going to publish it so it's available on production.
Do you think
Maybe
we'll have? Yep, sorry.
I will share my screen to show it, but just
Yep.
ask your question.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. Do you think we'll get to a stage where we could store the automations in GitHub and have them under version control, and then push them into Tracardi and
Yes, that
use
was
an automation in GitHub? Like, what are they?
I was
An
yeah,
action?
yeah. I was thinking about this like for a long time, but one issue with that is, and I would probably have it done with it wouldn't that issue. One issue is that actually for something to be stored in a GitHub, you have to have it like a file. So you have a file and a change on the file, and then you can store it in GitHub. I haven't been working much on that, but probably if I could overcome this issue, I would love to store all the configuration in the GitHub, and that would be able you would be able just to have all the versions, etc., etc. What I'm most probably what I most probably will do, I will do the export of the configuration of Tracardi to maybe some internal storage, and from that storage I would be able to just store the whole configuration of Tracardio in a certain version. That would be probably very best approach to have all the versions and everything staged in GitHub. That would be just great.
It would be.
Yep.
So you're going to do a screen share?
Yes, I'm going to. If I could start my development server, just a sec.
Oh, by the way, I was chatting. Sometimes the best time to introduce new systems. So when applications or websites are just starting, I had an opportunity to share Tracardi with an app that's going to be launched later in the year. And it was just interesting to have a conversation. It was just an eye opener for the person on the other end. They're interested in capturing details and audience
and you know that opens the discussion, because I'm open to all the changes that we need to do. And if anybody sees, okay, there is a good, we could change something so Tracardi works better for everyone. So that could be just the place to go. If we know what's going on during production, we can always change it and just influence. I'm open to changes, so you can influence me what I could do.
I'll share this video with the person and let them know that changes are available for just by asking. About that. But I guess the story is for them though that they see the value of capturing the email address of their audience, the people in their audience. But it's a story before that, just understanding that relationship and getting to the point where you can be asking that question and getting that trust with members in your audience, your subscribers, your customers, so that you can start asking those questions and having displaying that trust in what you're doing as well. So I figure as a story there.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually a new version.
Okay.
0.9.
Yeah.
And as you all know, we have like this dark mode where we can work at night. And the main change that actually happened is that right now we are using MySQL. We are using MySQL as a. Oh, let me just. Oh, I've run the wrong version. We are using MySQL as a. Sorry, I haven't prepared myself. Just a sec.
Oh no, we're making it up as we go.
Yep.
Live demos are always fun.
Okay, done. So I changed the backend to the newest version, and let's restart it. So we store all the data in MySQL, and this allowed me to change the way the deployment works and have some additional features. Just a sec. Okay. Yes, the backend is the right version. So whenever you create something in Tracardi, let's go into inbound traffic. So when I create some, this is a commercial version. When I create some event source, it's a draft. So when I click on production, this is the way you change production to test. And this is if you didn't know, when you click here, you can change the mode. So I'm now in the test environment. Now in the production, you can see there is no event sources in the production. When I finish editing this event source, this row, I can just click deploy, and this part is running, so it's available on production. Here we go. Whenever I do some change, 111, just go again. Maybe this time it's not working. Oh, sorry. Oh, actually, it's a development work, and that's why I can't see it. I should see another tag here saying that I also have a deployment, a draft. So I have both versions running. One version is running in a production. I don't know why it's the 111, but one version is running on production, and the other one should be like a local version that I'm working on. So this is the main change. You have like two versions, and each one can be deployed to production or removed from production. And you work only like in tests. Most of the time, you work just in test. In the open source version, you have this red or green dot here. So you will be able to just enable and disable each of the rows. If it's enabled, then it's working on production. If it's disabled, it's not working. So this is the main change that is happening right now. Also, there are some changes in the graphical user interface. So there are ways that you would like to see like real data coming. So when you click here, you can refresh your data that's coming to Tracardi every 15 seconds. But in the old system, you could not see that. So you could just turn it on, and it could just run in the background, and you never notice it. Actually, your data will be refreshed, but you will be all just using on the resource. Right now, when there's some filter turned on, you have this highlighted, and you can see this in a graphical user interface, and this is how we improve the user experience. Also, another part is that when we were searching, we had to type some field and then say, okay, I want this field to be filtered by true, false, etc. But with this version, we will be able to search the data based on free search. I would say free search. So I could type anything in here, and that will search like a full text search through the data. So if I have like some email somewhere and I don't know the field, I can just type an email, and all the data will be filtered through that open search or text search. Okay.
That's
So these
nice.
are the main changes that when I was using Tracardi, when I use actually daily Tracardi, just bothered me that I have to know all the fields and I don't remember all the names of the fields. So although you have like this auto completion that helps you, but sometimes I don't even know where the data was placed in that in Tracardi. And also you can use wildcards. So whenever you type something like, I don't know, Risto and star, it will also look for all the data.
No, that's nice, because I think you're often in data there really when you're developing, you're testing. And you know actually what the email address or what some of the PII be for the records you're looking for. Say in the profile, just being able to type the email address in or something that you know that's going to be there. Would segments work the same way? So could you type in profiles a segment name, and would that bring up all the?
Yeah, you could actually, you can type whatever 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 you need.
Yeah.
And I'm just, because maybe I've also implemented this on this new minor release. I can just try this. uh, a at a, for example. Yeah, it works.
Yep.
So basically, when you update to this minor revision, you can see that it also allows you this type of searching. So it found all the emails, for example, ending with PL.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I noticed on the chat today there was some comments around the copy data activity, and
Yes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and the way I've been using it so far is just I can copy data traits on the profile from events, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had any luck or joy with any other fields. I'm wondering if that's default behavior, whether copy data can only be used for a certain
I
part of the
guess
profile.
I guess this may be some obsolete behavior, because that node was called copy traits. So maybe I've left something and it just copies traits, and I have to just go there and see. Maybe there is some old code there. So I will remove it, because I would like to be able to copy all the data.
Yep, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's you can definitely work around if it's yeah. It's just a matter of knowing if it's intended to be that way or not. But if we could copy it anywhere, I guess that'd be even better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can also share some work that I'm working on about the experience, but this is probably will be in some other like older newer versions.
Yeah.
One thing is that I would like to have like this nice presentation of where the customer is in a journey. So
Sure.
this is the way we will probably in the future see how the customer behaved, and if we mapped our events into the customer journey, then we can see how much time they spent being in the awareness state, consideration, and purchasing. So that we can see this graph with probably some NPS um, mm, that allows us to see if the customer was happy during that stage or not. So also we will need some widget that we can pop up on our screen saying, okay, do you think that this information or this purchase process was okay? And then when somebody clicks yes, no, or happy face or sad face, we could see it in our presentation as well.
We have the rating widget at the moment, but it's slightly different, isn't it? So the rating widget's about the quality of content on the page, whereas we're talking about something different here, aren't we?
Yeah. Actually, those are the widgets, the way of presenting,
Yep.
the way of presenting it that are not available in the application right now. That will be available probably in the new versions. Okay,
In the future. Yep.
and also probably I will need some new way of creating segments, or I will call it probably audiences, where we could just add some rules, like okay, that some person is PAI data, I don't know, its height is bigger than 100 centimeters, etc. So this is a widget for easier making the queries that we usually type here. Okay, so there will be like a new widget for, and this is from the perspective of user experience, right?
Just going back
And,
to the funnel. So you've got those classic stages.
mhm.
So how does Tracardi work out whether the audience is, or that
Yeah,
customer, or the subscriber is in the first
certain
stage of
stage. Yeah,
consideration? Yeah. What are the business rules around that?
when uh, do you ask about how you use it in the business, or how you do it in Tracardi, how you map it in
How
Tracardi?
Tracardi understands that it's awareness. So
Okay.
awareness is generally a first stage, but once you go to consideration, how does Tracardi know that you've gone from awareness to consideration? What's the rule
Yeah.
for that? Is that
Um,
configurable or?
Actually, when you do event mapping, because you know that some events happen at certain stages. Okay, somebody views your page. This is most probably the awareness, but I also was making some rules that viewing pages after somebody bought something is something different, some different part. But right now you can map certain event types. So for example, let's say that somebody shares something, okay, product shared. So it means that that person is probably um, in the process, in the customer journey after awareness, after buying something, okay. So we could say that when somebody does this, it's in a loyalty stage, okay. So I have mapped this. Whenever this event type happens, I also mapped it to customer journey as loyalty, okay. And then based on that, how many of different event types happened, I can tell that, okay, this person now starts sharing my products, so they are probably in the loyalty stage. If they are like buying, or I don't know, product returned, this is also some stage. Probably I would say that that would be just purchase. Okay, so this is how you map some event type to customer journey state,
Yeah.
and then
I,
based on that,
yeah. I,
you can.
I was going to say it sort of depends on the business. Though. So if I'm using Tracardi with real estate, I might share a property with members of my family, but I haven't actually bought the property yet. So I haven't. I'm not actually a loyal member
Yes,
yet. I've actually possibly gone from consider
yes,
awareness
and
to
this is,
consideration. Yep. So
yeah, yeah, and this is probably have to be more complex than it is now,
okay.
because just simple mapping does not reflect your actual journey. I was even thinking about this, that actually the journey is very much connected to some products. Okay, so when okay, I'm looking for a laptop, for example. When I'm looking for a laptop, I could just browse my site, then I could buy it, but later on, like a week after, I can browse for some monitor. And now in my customer journey, I'm still in this first state awareness. I'm aware that I want to buy a monitor, but in the context of my laptop, I'm already in the state of purchase. Okay, so this somehow has to be not also must also be connected with a product, or whatever that customer journey is
It's almost
related to.
next best action, isn't it?
Yes,
And
yes,
and
yes.
so much of that's really just bound around the business itself. What's the next step in that journey for the customer? And just
Yes.
reflecting on it today, I purchased something recently. It was a tickets flight going up to Sydney. I live in Melbourne. There's a conference in Sydney in a couple of weeks' time, so I'm
Hmm.
flying up for it. And
Yep.
I'm staying with family up there, cheap on the cheap.
Hmm.
And when they come down, they stay with me as well. It sort of
Hmm.
works out well. But yeah, I got the offer for upgrade your flight with some accommodation today, and it was definitely the next best action that they could think about
Hmm.
for me with that flight that I'd booked. Is that I hadn't booked accommodation at the beginning, so why not offer that to me next? But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
still in the consideration. I'm definitely not a loyal customer to that airline or anything, or that hotel chain. It's just I'm talking
Yes,
about it now. I've
yes.
become aware of it, but I'm not even considering it.
Sure.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah.
this is quite difficult, because why this graph of customer journey did not have not been implemented to Tracardi, because in here it's still in a like an infancy stage, the whole customer journey, how we map this, because it's quite difficult to do this like a generic way. Okay, I know that there must be some product related. I also know that for a certain businesses you just mentioned, the whole customer journey can be a bit different, and you can be in a customer journey depending on a product in a different stages. So we somehow have to find a way to present it the way that everybody will understand how to configure it. And this is sometimes very hard.
Yeah.
Just
I
making
wonder
it
if I
simple.
wonder if the the, the, the segments have got a rule-based system. You can have your calculations, and once the threshold's passed, you can apply the segment. I'm wondering if segments are another way of applying those customer journey states.
Well, I'm not quite sure,
Okay.
because segments just tell you about the behavioral data. Um, what person, what you are interested in, or if you are like the segments based on age, or I don't know, whatever you bought something. So they're a bit different concepts, and maybe it can help. So if somebody is in that segment and bought this product, maybe we could put them in a certain journey state. Um, I don't know. I have to just think it over because it's not so straightforward.
Yeah. I guess that could be one way. Another way would just be having different configurations. Like there's a retail configuration, there's a real estate configuration, and
Hmm.
just having different business models that you can drop it, you can select from. There's different
And,
triggers,
and
different thresholds.
yeah, also adding just probably a new node to automation. Maybe using automation, it could be just easier to say, okay, now this person is certainly in that state, okay, that journey state.
Because
Because
yeah, sorry, go on.
with like a simple form, it may be hard to just present it, okay? So to be like multi-dimensional form, saying, okay, for this product, when this happened, you are in this state, okay? Or when we do not see the event of purchase, you're never in a purchased state, okay? So we have to figure out how to do it efficiently and easy.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
What did we have else? We had some feedback last week about things that people would like to hear about. I think I'm just trying to remember those topics. There were, I know I mentioned a couple, and it's not for today, but I just get things to talk about coming up, about how we can implement AI with Tracardi. I think another one there was just some of the use cases, not so much the automations of what, but just some of the types of businesses that people are doing using Tracardi for, just to get a
Yeah.
sense of where it is in the marketplace. I
Actually,
think
I was just preparing myself just to talk about this today.
yeah,
Um, I think we have some more time, so I will
yeah,
just share some of my experience with customers, how they see Trocari.
okay,
I've already told that to my surprise, I was just making Trocari for business that will install it on their servers and just use them for their own like e-commerce site, etc. But Trocari became like a backbone of the marketing tech platforms, and I have at least 3 to 4 meetings a day with companies that say, okay, we actually love your graphical user interface, but we really love your API because we would like to install this system in our platform, and we'll use our own API. We'll just connect to that platform. We'll integrate it with our solution. So most of the commercial use cases are around using Tracardi as a backbone of their processes. They usually handle a lot of data and would like to merge data from different data silos into one profile. And because Tracardi allows to set up this identification points, they can use email, either email or phone, just to stitch together this data into one profile. And then on top of this, they build their own API, and usually they just picked some of the some of the features they need. They say, okay, maybe I need some segmentation. I need to configure maybe those identification points. And this is the graphical user interface is not so sophisticated. It's much more about the process that happens inside. Even I like very much automation. They don't use automation right now. They say, okay, now we don't need it, but uh, we really like that we have access to the data and have access to the streams of data, so we can connect to, and our programmers can do whatever they want. And other use cases just use it like a regular CDP. Okay, they just collect the data, get emails, send them to some HubSpot for marketing or Mailchimp, and use it for a collector that collects data about the customers from different channels and just stitch it together. And another use cases are very much related to the e-commerce. So, and this time, customers want to engage the customers and want to somehow activate them or gather more data about the customer. So they use the usual use cases. So somebody basket dropped that basket, didn't buy anything, and then after some time, just please activate this customer because we want to. And they are more into automation than collecting data, because either they have the data well collected, and they want to automate the journey, or sometimes they don't have the data from the later stages of the customer journey, when somebody, for example, there's like a warranty issue or some issue with the product, and you just want to have the warranty, or you want to have the product is returned, or somebody didn't pay, and they don't have this information in their system. So then they can also use Tracardi to enhance the profile history with that data. So this is just a regular e-commerce use case, and a lot of questions are starting to revolve about artificial intelligence, because with all that data that you start collecting, there is very nice database for building AI systems, and especially when you think about the history of purchases, as the same way as the large language models think about words. So you have a sequence. A sequence of purchases is the same as sequence of words in large language models. You can use the same models just to try to predict the next purchase. And I think this move is very interesting, and because we have like a proven concept that large language models work, we could just apply the same thing to the customer history. And if it works the same way, or as good as large language models, then that would be just perfect, because you can suggest very good next purchase.
I'm glad you said that, because I think I've been thinking along the same lines about how that would work with the large language models at the moment. I
Mhm.
guess a large language model is trained on it's on words, whereas you're training for the next best. You're training for you're looking for patterns, as you say. So look, it's an interesting topic to dive into and explore. Um, there's also single shot classification and things like that, where you can classify and segment things and find things that you're not necessarily aware of.
Yes.
and group cohorts of customers together with those types of things. And looking at sequences, looking at what types of sequences go on to go through that journey, that customer journey that we're talking about earlier. What makes them go from awareness to the customer to go from awareness to consideration, and what are the aspects? What are those groups of customers like? Because once you can start identifying that and finding things that you can't necessarily easily see, I suppose that's what the repair of AI is.
Yeah.
But applying a large language model to that, I'm not. Yeah, it's something. Like I said, I like the way you're thinking, and it's something that we need to explore.
Actually, before I started Tracardi, I was into machine learning and product classification, and I did some quite nice models for that. And how it worked, and actually, the idea for Tracardi or a system like Tracardi came from that previous experience and the need that I have about the data. I had a lot of data about the product, and my goal was to let's make a model that will that have like two tasks. One task is if I have a product, find me exactly the same product, because I would like to have like a way of matching products from different sources, because I was working for some time for a company that gathered from different sources the same products, and then they want to match it under one ID. It was quite challenging. Actually, I think at this moment, with a little data as a description of a product, it's quite hard to match the products. But it showed me that those models can very easily find similar products. So it's not exactly the same product, but very similar products. And this similar product is like a substitute of the product I'm searching for. So with that model, if somebody bought something, and I know that that person, that customer is not in a purchase state, actually did not purchase. So I can still show them different substitutes and different products that they can choose and may be interested in. And later on, when I was working on matching those products, I've noticed that without a clear understanding what the description of a product says, which word is actually a product and which is a property of that product, we could not very easily find the substitutes. So I had to just take a step back and build another model that when I have a product description, the model will give me what actually is the product, what are the properties of that product, for whom is that product, and a category of that product. By having those properties, you can very easily then find similar products. But when you have those properties, it's actually very similar also to have products that are can be buy together with that product. For example, if I have a stapler, I might need staples, okay? And it worked amazingly well. So you just type the whatever you search from the open text, the model was able to tell you, okay, this person is actually asking about this product, and this product is in relation with some other products like staples, etc., etc. And it was so good that I was like, okay, now let's do it for each customer and just now try to find the next best product to buy. But then I start lacking data because I could not find this kind of data on the internet. So there is no like big, because to build the models I've been building, I needed like 50 million product descriptions, and I could scrape it from the internet. But you are not able to get 15 minutes sequences of purchases of customers. This data is not available. So companies must find a way to collect it, to build very nice models to suggest products or find the customer journey states or whatever they come up with.
And that's the value of a CDP, because it
Yeah.
helps organize all that together.
Yes.
Yep.
So basically, there are some use cases. Of course, the most interesting use case is just use all the possibilities of CDP. So stitching profiles, enhancing the information from the internet, doing some automation, and the most interesting use case is just show the power of CDP or any product like that. So, and I also very like the idea that Tracardi is like a CDP, but actually it's also an automation product. So it's like a Zapier sitting on a customer data. So you can just look into the customer data and do whatever you want.
Yeah. And you can display widgets, and you can actually
Personalize, yeah.
Yeah, feedback
This
loop,
is,
which is a little bit different to others. So there's that aspect to it as well. How are we doing for time? Oh, we've probably got a couple of minutes left. I'm not quite sure if we've got anything left to chat about
yeah, we have to just figure out what we'll be talking about next week.
next week. We've chatted for 45 minutes, which is quite cool, because I didn't think we had too much to talk about. We've already talked
Yeah.
about a heap of stuff, and it's been interesting. Next week. I have nothing on my mind right now, but I'm sure that'll change between now and then.
Yeah, let's see what's on the Slack. What's on the
Yeah.
Slack that came up? That will come up in the
It's been a little
weekend.
bit quiet there over the last week. I think everyone's just been a bit. We've had the release. There's been a lot of activity leading up to that. I think.
Yeah, I think
the
people
time
are
of the
just
year-
installing it and trying it out, and then
Yeah.
we'll see what
Yeah.
they come up with.
But
Yes.
thanks, Christo, for today.
Okay.
We'll
Thank
catch
you.
you next week, and thanks for all your hard work.
Oh, well, this is just fun.
Just fun.
It is. It is.
All
No
right.
work. It's just fun.
Yeah, I know. Talk soon.